My name is Amber Geiss, and as long as I can remember, I've been passionate about people. I was in a very dark season in which I lost myself. And I'm here to say, despite what others may say or do or our circumstances, we have the power to overcome and find ourselves again. We all have a story. Let's unveil the mask.
Hi guys, it's Amber Geiss here, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed last week's video, the debut show of Unveiling the Mask. And Angela's story, I think she's such a brave and incredible woman, and I'm so honored that she's my sister-in-law. And I just wanted to share today, this week, just about what I'm doing and why I wanted to do it. I'm sure I'm not the only person that just can't even believe my life has turned out the way it's turning out. For a really long time, I've just been in a really dark place. Many of you, I'm sure, have gone through divorce or a loss or experiencing grief. And I think so many of us can start believing what other people say. And we can start believing that we are not worthy, that we're a horrible person, that we don't have a voice. I think for many, many years, if I look back on my life, I just can't believe everything that I've experienced. When I was 16, I was a boy in a parking lot, and I actually put him in the hospital for a month. And that night going to bed, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I think I've paralyzed someone. And for a long time, all I could think about was that accident, and all I could believe about myself is how horrible of a person I was for that accident to happen. When I was younger, I was sexually assaulted. And so for a long time, all I could identify with myself was being molested and the shame that carried, and keeping that a secret. And then I got cancer. And here I am now, at 31, I get breast cancer. And I think, oh my gosh, I'm just this horrible person that now I'm gonna lose my breast. Like, karma is truly a bitch. Like, what have I done to deserve this? And then for a long time, my story was, I'm the girl with breast cancer. I'm the girl that's lost her breast. And then, now I'm the girl that's gotten divorced. And now my family is broken. And so for a really long time, I think how I dealt with my life was to stay completely busy. I think for many years, if you guys know me, if you've been in my life, I've always heard, oh my gosh, Amber, I don't know how you do it. Oh my gosh, I don't know how you could do all this stuff that you do. What I've realized, especially over the last couple of years, is I stayed so incredibly busy because I didn't want to feel. I didn't want to feel the shame of being sexually assaulted. I didn't want to feel the shame of hurting someone so badly that they had a hard time learning how to walk again. I didn't want to feel the shame of having breast cancer, and I didn't want to deal with the fear of it coming back and realizing that who knows how long I have. When is it going to come back? I think a long time. I just worried. I was constantly in a state of worry that, oh my gosh, this year it's going to come back, or oh my gosh, how long do I have? And I had so much shame around my divorce and failing my children. And that story, that pattern of all those things, especially the divorce and the words of others, I think we don't realize the power of words. And our words can really make or break a person. But in true, really, if we are strong enough, and if we are in this moment, we have to realize that words should not be able to break us. You know that old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. I'm sorry, that's a piece of shit. That's so not true. But what happens is, if we keep this story playing and playing in our head, and if we keep believing the words, then we are those words. Then we live in a darkness, and then we're living through the trauma over and over and over again. And when my mom passed away suddenly in March, when I got that phone call, let me just say this. I haven't been in the church for many, many years, and this show is not going to be a religious one. It's going to be about everybody's story. And if they have God in their life, they have God. If they do not have God, they don't have God, because everybody is human and everybody gets to choose what they believe and what they don't believe. But the morning on March 8th of 2018, I remember waking up at 6:30 like any other day. But the strangest thing was happening. It was so bizarre. I remember so strongly, like a voice saying, turn on praise and worship music. You need to listen to praise and worship music. And I remember thinking, what the hell? I have not been to church. I don't listen to praise and worship music. If you guys also read my blog, if you've read any of my novels, you know that I've stepped away from organized religion and that I've stepped away from the church. But this particular morning, it was so strong, and I knew it was something beyond me. And I remember cooking breakfast, but turning Alexa on, and all of a sudden praise and worship music is going on in my house. And I just kept thinking, why am I listening to this? And I took my kids to school like any other morning. And the whole drive up, as I was driving my daughter, I just kept feeling this strong sense of put that music back on. So I dropped her off and I put the music back on, and I got to work and I was gonna put it on in my office the whole time, questioning myself. I was gonna put it back on, and then I got sidetracked. I was probably not in my office more than 10 minutes. And I was talking to someone just like I normally do. I have a teacher that comes in, she eats her snack with me, and we're chatting away when my cell phone rang. And it was my dad. And it's kind of odd, my dad doesn't really call me. I don't know, we don't like talk on the phone a lot, but I pick up the phone and my dad says, Amber, your mom passed. You need to come. And I'm saying, passed out? I'm like, Dad, if she's passed out, like call 911. He was just like, Amber, you need to come now. And my heart just starts racing. In my mind, I'm just thinking, oh my God, I just saw her. She was just talking to me. Like, what is happening? And I remember driving down the hill to Roseville, and the whole time I'm just holding onto the steering wheel so tight, and I'm just thinking, this cannot be happening. This cannot be happening. She's probably fine. Or what am I going to walk into? What am I going to walk into? And what I was greeted was, she did pass. A police officer was at the door of my parents' house, and I remember him blocking the way for me not to let me in yet. And then we're asking him, is she here? Is she still here? And he said, yeah, she's here. And I said, no, is she like dead? Like, is she alive? And he said, no, she's passed. And that day, that morning, walking in to see my mom sitting in her chair gone, I didn't even think about the praise and worship music until later that day. And it's just such an odd, crazy thing. Those of you that have experienced the death of a parent or the death of a child, her death was really the first death that was so close to home to me. But it wasn't until later that afternoon that I remembered what happened. And I remembered that I felt like I had to listen to praise and worship music. And my mom was a total devout Christian. My mom loved praise and worship music. And I believe wholeheartedly that was the jolt in my life. That was the moment that something beyond me, and I don't even like to say God anymore because I feel like there's something so great and so magnificent more than me, jolted me awake. I don't know if that, and she passed in that time I was listening to that music. My mom passed during that time. And that just brought me back on this path of finding myself again. Not even finding myself, because truly our soul, we are us. If we strip all the mud and the words that people talk about us, we are who we are, and we are enough just as we are. And that story that I've been living through, and that running and writing books and doing blogs and speaking engagements and running businesses and just running, busy, so I didn't have to feel. And I realized that you have to feel it. We have to feel these emotions, and we have to be there for other people. I have been so blessed with the people that have been in my life, and I want to say thank you. And so since the last 7 months, I just feel like I've stripped away that story, and it got to such a dark place that I remember one day in July, I thought, I don't know if I'm strong enough to do this anymore. I don't know if I'm strong enough to do this. And I remember thinking it would be so much easier to close my eyes and not deal with all of this anymore. And I remember that was the moment, the choice. The choice is to either let go of the story, let go of the past, let go of those words that people say and start believing in myself, or I'm going to just be swallowed by that. So I remember I started listening to podcasts and people's stories, and I just was reminded there's so many more people going through way more shit than I am. We get so carried away in our bubble. We can just look at others and learn about other people's lives and take off our masks and say, you know what? How's your day today? You know, it was actually a really crappy day. Can we actually acknowledge and speak our truth to people? Or when you hear that from someone, are you going to run from that? Rather than run from that, let's embrace other human beings. Let's say, I'm really sorry you're going through something crappy. What can I do? Can I be there for you? We need to admit that we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. We are always going to have the valleys and the hills. Like, life is not perfect. If it was perfect, how boring would we all be? We'd be robots. So this is why I'm doing this passion project. I just want to get real with people, and I want to admit that we do not have it all together. But we can come together, and we can come and love each other and support each other, and we can let go of the story. We are not victims. We may have had really bad, crappy, shitty things happen, but we don't have to be a victim. We are love, and we are beautiful just as we are. And I think once we can kind of get that, I think we can live just such a more amazing, fulfilled life. I think there's so much more to this life, but I think we might be missing it because we're so bogged down by others, by our problems, by our situations. So this week, I just want to send you guys love. And this project, I have no idea where it's going. I don't know how it's going to look. But sometimes in life, we have to just wake up and do things that make us happy. And this is one of those projects, is just to reach people, talk to you, hear you. If you have a story, if you have a message you feel like you want to share, message me. I would love to talk with you. If there's a secret, or not even a secret, if you're just dealing with something, and sometimes it's really liberating just to let it out and just say, yep, here it is. This is what I'm struggling with. I would love to chat with you. So thank you for coming along this journey. I don't even really know what this is, but I'm ready to live a more fulfilled and loving life. I'm letting go of the shit talk. I'm letting go of that story. I'm not going to identify with it anymore. We do not identify with things that happen in our life. We are who we are. Our soul is love. We are love. So I will see you here again next week. Have a wonderful week.